Hello again and welcome everybody. I'm Lanny Brannick and welcome to the 2018 high school football season. We're here in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky for the Anderson County Bearcats taking on the George Rogers Clark Cardinals. I'm Lanny Brannick. This is an Anderson County Sports TV and Central Kentucky Sports, centralkysports.com production. I'm here with Keith Klink, the voice of the Bearcats for 25 years. Keith, football is back. It's been a long wait, but we're here.
We are, and looks like we may have escaped the rain, which is always a good thing.
I was down on the field. The conditions, I would call them kindly terrible. It's going to be a muddy night here.
Well, let's hope. I really hope it's not that bad because the field's in good shape, and I really hate to see it torn up too bad because we've got 6 home games this year.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, Anderson County coming off a really good season, 8-4, went to a playoff game, won that one, went to another playoff game, had some heartbreak.
Yes, they within 44 seconds of beating Madison Southern, couldn't get the ball in the end zone on 4th down, and of course Madison Southern was the state runner-up in 5A.
So a lot to look forward to. George Rogers Clark coming off their best season in a long time. They actually went to a playoff game and got drubbed, but a playoff team coming in here for opening night.
This is, I think, the 6th year in a row that we've opened with GRC, and the games have always been good.
So this is a rivalry game, you'd say, huh?
They're too far away for it to really be nasty.
Well, it could be a nasty, muddy game tonight. Keith, I know you've got some stuff that you want to talk about to open our season. Take it away.
Okay. Last year, like Lanny said, Anderson finished 8-4, but gone from that team were 4 starters on offense and 3 on defense. Leading rusher Blake Franklin and leading receiver Tyler Peters are both gone. But the Cats aren't without weapons. Quarterback Jagger Gillis returns for his sophomore season. Zach Labhart and Brendan Maxberry rush for over 1,000 yards each return and are bolstered by the transfer of Charles Alexander Collins, who rushed for over 2,000 yards and 29 touchdowns at Montgomery County. The leading returning receiver is Brendan Klink with just 5 catches, but Wesley Ruwine, Justin Wilhite, and John Michael Willems will be the other receivers. The offensive line is large and led by returnees Colton Cornish, Brandon Aldridge, Darian Derringer, and Ryan Stratton. Blake Buduro is the lone newcomer. Defensively, the Cats return 8 starters in Cornish, Wilhite, Maxberry, Chilton, Labhart, Aldridge, and Stratton, and Derringer. Keenan Scrap Russell is at safety. Ruwine at corner. Mickle Williams at defensive tackle completes the lineup. The kicking game should be solid with Willems punting, Ruwine doing the place kicking, and Klink snapping for the 3rd year in a row. GRC, as they said, finished 5-6. They're led by number 21 running back Natavius Thomas, who's the leading rusher returning in 6A. Defensively, they play a 4-4 or a 4-3 with number 3 Jaden Jenkins is the linebacker that's their best player on defense. Coach Peach says the Cats have had a good preseason and should be ready to go, but GRC might be their toughest non-district. I think we're about to have the national anthem. We'll be back in just a second.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, Anderson's captains are out. Wilhite, Cornish, Maxberry, and Chilton. Something that I do every year, and it's going to be a little harder this year, but over the off-season, the Bearcat family lost 3 members. John McWilliams, class of 68, member of the first golf team at Anderson High School, was a 3-year letterman and honorable mention All-State basketball player and a good friend of mine. Jim Boyd, coach and principal at Anderson High School in the early 60s, and a true gentleman, affectionately known by his students as the Big Bopper. Mr. Boyd was the preseason voice of the Bearcats for many years. Finally, Dale Wright, class of 64, my fellow announcer for over 25 years, Little League football coach who coached 3 Little Leaguers to All-State honors, All-CKC, All-State tight end as a senior. Dale and I shared 25 years of Friday Night Lights. We went from Highlands to Bowling Green to Middlesboro. I will truly miss it. Dale, John, and Coach Boyd, they'll join the rest of the Bearcats with the best seat in the house. I knew I couldn't get through that.
Thanks, Keith. That's a really nice tribute to those folks.
Okay, looks like GRC won the toss. And they're going to defer, so the Bearcats will be kicking off, start the game, or receiving rather to start the game. Okay, for the Bearcats coming out on offense, have Willems 19 at tight end, Derringer 57 at tackle, Cornish 54 at guard, Ryan Stratton 70 at center, Brandon Aldridge 73 at the other guard, Blake Boudreau 63, Brendan Clank number 11 is a wideout, Jagger Gillis 9 is the quarterback, Wesley Ryan is the other wideout, Zach Labhart number 10, and Charles Alexander Collins number 32 round out the backfield.
So I think, Keith, we're going to expect on-the-ground game tonight, and a lot of 3 yards in a cloud of mud.
Yeah. Yes. Trust me, I've seen this here before. The 3 yards in a cloud of mud. The last time we went, the time we went to the state playoffs and got to the final game, the last 2 games were played in just a complete swamp out here, and the field really looks good, and I'm going to be sorry to see it torn up. And here come the Bearcats. Okay, on the kickoff team, we've got Wilhite, we've got Clank, we've got Fink, Russell, Collins, Willems, Maxbury, Aldridge, and let's see if I've missed anybody here.
Got a good-looking crowd tonight.
Yeah, they did decide to come out after the rain. I hate to say it, but a lot of times that whole fence and the whole fence row down there will be wall-to-wall people.
Well, it did come a downpour, and I mean a downpour about 6:45 when I was coming in here to get set up for this Anderson County Sports TV and CentralKYSports.com broadcast.
And the other 2 members of the receiving team are 12 Joe Taylor and 26 Jacob Redmond.
Bearcats going to get the ball.
And the band is not getting off the field.
The band is on the field.
In this case, the band is not getting off the field. We've got Collins, Labhart, and Maxbury deep. In front of them are Wilhite, Russell. There's a squibber that's getting out of bounds, and Anderson will take over on the 42. 1st and 10 for Anderson on their own 43-yard line.
Yeah, there's a penalty flag down for kicking it out of bounds, so it's going to come up about another 10 yards. Oh, 5 yards, okay.
Okay, Anderson comes out. It looks like they're going with Two wides, a wing. Labhart back there with Gillis. There's a counter play to Labhart. He's getting to the outside. He's got the first down. He's going down the sideline, and he's gone. Touchdown, Brendan Labhart.
One play, one score.
I tell you what, everybody went with Cooper when they faked that jet sweep, and they countered Labhart, and I think one person had a shot at him. Okay, we've got Russell holding, rewind kicking. That took 13 seconds. There's a snap. And it's good. 11:47 to go in the first. Anderson 7, GRC nothing.
Good job, man. It's like, and he's gone.
And now we have to see if we can keep them out of the.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Man to the outside, and he was untouched. I don't believe he was ever touched on that play.
I could somebody reached for him, but I don't know if, as you say, if they ever touched him.
GRC is not small up front either, but they don't appear to be particularly fast.
Okay, we've got Ruwine kicking off. It's coming to this side, and it's going out of bounds. And GRC will get it on the 35, where it'll be 1st and 10 for GRC. Okay, on defense, Anderson trots out Cornish, Luster, Wilhite, Russell, Labhart, Maxberry, Derringer, First and 10 for GRC. GRC comes up in an I, double tight, one wide. Anderson shifted. There's a counter play, and there's a tackle after a 5-yard gain by Wilhite and Chilton. It's a gain of 5.
Pretty decent stop up there by the safety. Coming in and cleaning up the back of the play.
2nd and 5 for GRC. GRC has 2 wides, quarterbacks in the shotgun. Anderson shifting around. They're double tight. There's read option with the quarterback, and there's a nice play by Cornish.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
3rd and 5 for GRC. GRC puts trips to the far side, tight end to this side. There's a snap. Quarterback's going back. Anderson's trying to get pressure, and it's thrown. It was either thrown behind one receiver or in front of the other one. And looks like GRC's bringing the punt team out. Anderson has Collins and Labhart deep.
Three and out to start is a pretty good look for the Bearcats. Anderson didn't really seem to have a whole lot going on. 5 yards on that counter play on first down, but not much after.
I was watching the GRC punter. He wasn't getting a whole lot of distance on his punts. Anderson's in punt safe.
With the field slick like this, one cut and you could be gone.
There's a snap, not much of a rush. They've got the return set up. It's coming over this way. It's going to bounce in front of Collins, and it's down on the 18-yard line where Anderson will take over 1st and 10. Well, Anderson started out with a good average here. They've run one play for a touchdown. I tend to doubt that that's going to happen again, but one never knows. We'll see.
You good?
First and 10, Bearcats on the 18.
You think we'll see a pass here?
Probably not. Anderson has 2 wides to this side. A wing. Put a man in motion. There's the read. There's Collins up the middle, and he gets 2.
There's not a lot there that time. But again, that was another counter play. They're trying that one more time.
2nd and 8. And I think last year we didn't average more than 5 or 6 passes a game. But you were operating with a freshman quarterback, and that makes a difference. Anderson has a wing, put a man in motion. That's Maxbury. There's a counter play this way with Collins. He's trying to get to the outside, and he's knocked down after a 2-yard gain. Going to make it 3rd and 6.
Just didn't have the big guys out in front. GRC was able to string that one out a little bit.
The defensive end did a real good job. Cornish couldn't knock him out of the play. Third and 6 for Anderson. You got Ruwine and Klink flanked to the far side. There's the option. Gillis is back. He's keeping it, tucking it under, and he's got the first down. 9-yard run by Jagger Gillis. First down Bearcats on their own 32.
They just didn't account for the quarterback that time.
$7:45 to go in the first. 7-0 Anderson. Anderson has a wing and a wide. Put Maxbury in motion. There's the handoff to Maxbury, and he loses a yard. Going to make it 2nd and 11. Anderson has a receiver this way. Slot. They're coming on the blitz. And there's Collins. He slipped one tackle, and he's driving hard. He comes up to the 38-yard line where it's going to be 3rd and 4.
Took on 2 tacklers to get a couple of extra yards there. It's hard running. I don't think we're going to see any razzle-dazzle here. I think this is going to be something straight off tackle. Just try to get the 3.5 yards.
I think Anderson needs to hurry. And timeout Bearcats with 6:05 to go in the first quarter. Anderson 7, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
With analysis, but I can't really get down to see this and look at that.
Okay, 3rd and 4 for Anderson. Got 2 receivers to the far side. There's a flag, yeah. Max Berry's got the first down, but it's going to come back. I think we had too many people in the backfield. It's either that or illegal formation, one of the two.
Yeah, preliminary indications coming back. Coach is trying to make his case, but I don't think he's going to win that argument.
No, it honestly looked to me like we had too many people in the backfield. There's
11 out there, but
yeah, I think we were 6 and 5 instead of 7 and 4. 3rd and 9 now for Anderson.
You hate to make too much of something that's early on in the game like that, but that was a big play,
yeah.
Something to keep the momentum going and flip the field at least.
Yeah, that keeps the drive alive. Anderson has receivers wide to both sides, 2 slots.
Pretty obvious passing down, we'll see.
Put a man in motion. There's a counter play. Took Collins, and he's gone. They're not going to catch him. I don't know what happened with Gillis, but he's got his hands on his knee. I don't know if somebody hit him or what happened.
Play was slow to develop, and then all of a sudden he was outside and gone.
Oop.
That play covered almost 70 yards.
Okay, you got to rewind in to kick. And it's good with 5:34 to go in the first quarter. Anderson 14, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
And we're back.
Okay, didn't know we'd left. Okay, we got rewind kicking off again. Rewind's kick went out of bounds the first time. This one's not going out of bounds. This one's down the middle of the field. It's taken on the 3. They've got a wall up the middle, and he's brought down by Fink on the 24-yard line, where GRC will take over 1st and 10.
Last time 3 and out for GRC. They got a couple of yards on 1st down. Not able to muster much after. We'll see what the Bearcats have for them this time. Michael Williamson, number 68.
He's a large individual.
6'3", 420, ladies and gentlemen. 6'3", 420.
He is a large individual.
If you pay attention to him, you don't see him move much, and that's an offside.
And we are offsides.
He does not go backwards easily.
Make it 1st and 5 for GRC. Yeah, he and Jacob Luster on the other side. He's 6'3", 330. GRC puts 2 receivers to this side, 1 to the far side. There's a little counterplay, and he is really hit hard by Cornish and Luster. No, that was Derringer. Cornish and Derringer. There's not much of a gain there, if any at all.
Colton Cornish must love playing linebacker on this team because once the initial wave is stopped, he just comes in and cleans up the mess.
Second and 4 for GRC.
The nice thing for the Bearcats is they don't have to rush or do anything fancy. They just put 4 big guys up front.
GRC has 2 receivers stacked to this side. Quarterback's going back. And Anderson's getting pressure. They lose him. He's rolling this way. Labhart's after him, and Labhart slings him down. Derringer swung him around and missed him, let him go, but Labhart didn't.
Safe to say Fran Tarkington is not playing for GRC.
No, he's not coming through that door tonight, I don't think. 3rd and 15 for GRC.
Any of you youngsters watching this, go Google Fran Tarkington.
Yeah. Okay, GRC empties the backfield. They've got 4 receivers to the far side, 1 to this side. Anderson's trying to get to him. They're coming across the middle, and that's going to be close to a 1st down. And that is a 1st down for GRC.
That's the best play by far they've had all night. It wasn't anything fancy, just a little seam for the receiver, just a pitch and catch.
I'm not sure if Russell had him short of the 1st down or not, but he squirmed and fell forward enough for the 1st down.
He caught it right at the marker. It was pretty good awareness for a high school kid.
1st and 10 for GRC. They in an eye now. Receivers to either side. There's a straight handoff. He's trying to get to the outside. He's missed again, and then Cornish brings him down.
Cornish has been on about 5 tackles already. If he's not the primary tackler, he's there to clean up, or he's got a hand on the fella.
Got A.J. Castle coming in. 2nd and 11. Three wide for GRC. There's a counter play this way, and he's brought down by Max Berry and others. Max Berry, Castle. It's going to be 3rd and 7. 2 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. 14-0 Bearcat lead.
It'll be interesting to see if they try to run that same little seam play that worked so well just a couple of minutes ago. A little shorter distance this time. They've had very little success running the ball.
They've got a wing on each side, double tight. There's the handoff, and there's nothing. That's Derringer and Castle. Be 4th and 4.
Keith, it felt like a give-up play right there. Like they weren't sure they can convert 7 yards through the air.
Well, let's see here. Looks like they're going for it. I think if I was Anderson, I might be watching the ball.
You agree with this call?
Beating them 5 times in a row. They've got 2 wides to the far side. Quarterback's back. And there's a wide open receiver for the first down.
Extracurriculars after play a little bit. Not bad.
Less than a minute to go in the first quarter. First down GRC on Anderson's 46.
Will not surprise me to see them throw here.
And we've got a timeout for something. Clock stoppage or not.
GRC has had almost no success running the ball. Anderson County stuffs them up front, and Cornish cleans up.
They've got 2 receivers this way. And there's the ball. Chilton picks it up. He drops it. He picks it up again. He's hit, and he's down at the GRC 42. I think that was Cornish that spun him around.
Yeah.
And caused the fumble. And Chilton came in, picked it up, dropped it. And
I don't know how long it's going to take GRC to give up coming through the middle like that, but every time they do, something bad happens. This time it was a fumble and a recovery. It looked like he might be able to take it all the way, but just couldn't get it scooped up cleanly.
Okay, and
back to the ground and pound.
Anderson has people running all over the place here. Okay, we've got a 5-yard penalty, I think, or fortunately we got a timeout. Okay, 50.5 seconds to go in the first quarter. Anderson 14, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, after all that, they finally did call a penalty on Anderson. It's 1st and 15, ball's on the 47. There's a pass to Collins, little slip screen. He's headed down the sideline, and he is going to be gone.
They can't stop that guy. They just cannot stop him.
Well, that's why he had 29 touchdowns and 2,000 yards last year. Nobody else could stop him either. Okay, we've got Ruwine in to kick. And for the people that didn't see the end of that, I'm sorry, I couldn't see either.
Well,
Okay, rewind in to kick. There's a snap. And it's good with 41 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Shortest goalpost in America right there.
Anderson 21, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Okay, rewind ready to kick off for the third time this quarter. Anderson's ahead 21-0, but it was either last year or 3 years ago at GRC got ahead of us 19-0 before we finally got untracked and came back to win the game.
You couldn't have asked for a better start, though. If you were going to plan your start to your football season, it would look like 21-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Kicks down to the 10. Taken. He's trying to get to the far side. Labhard's out there. He misses him, and Scrap Russell's one of them that was over there and knocked him out. Up to the 36 where GRC will start 1st and 10.
Anderson's yet to cross midfield without a fumble. Or I'm sorry, GRC's yet to cross midfield without a fumble.
1st and 10 GRC on the 36. This could well be the last play of the first quarter. GRC puts 2 wides this way, 1 to the far side. Put a man in motion. Quarterback's going straight back. And there's an interception by Rewind down on the 31-yard line. Wesley couldn't have played that any better.
He kicked it off, and then he gets the pick.
Well, this is up until last year when he kicked for Anderson. He was a soccer player, and he came in and just kicked this year. And then he decided he wanted a position and plays wide receiver and defensive back. Anderson comes with 3 wides, 1 to the far side, 2 to this side. Put a man in motion. Gillis keeps it on the option. He's keeping it. He's going down the sideline, and he's tackled after a gain of 14.
A nice run. He's not the quickest guy ever, but he got to the sideline just by kind of shucking and jiving his way there, acting like he was going to catch the ball, but he didn't.
He's 6'3", so he's got some long legs on him.
Got some long legs, okay. May have taken a shot to it there.
They're going to let the clock run out. At the end of 1, Anderson 21, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Okay, Anderson comes out. They've got 2 wides to this side, 1 to the far side. They've got a slot.
The sun's shining on the Bearcats today.
Max Berry keeps it. There's a pitch back to Labhart, and he breaks a tackle coming down the sideline, and he's knocked out after a gain of 6. He got a block out there from Clank, and then he broke a tackle, and he got 6 where it looked like he was going to lose 2 or 3. Well, they didn't give him as much.
No, they didn't give him.
They didn't give him. He must have stepped out of bounds.
He did. He ran a long way to get -1.
Okay, once again, Anderson has confusion. And once again, we are out of timeouts. Okay, 11:57 to go in the first half. Anderson 21, GRC nothing. They could give us 16 timeouts.
This has got to go in a minute.
Okay, here we go. Second and 10 for Anderson. Man in motion. There's a reverse. Max Berry. And he's knocked down after a loss of about 9.
I don't like to see a team that's up 21-0 get cute, and that's what that looked like.
I was surprised.
They got cute to the tune of -8 yards right there, backwards 8 yards. And now they're in a 3rd and impossible.
Anderson has 3 wides. Man in motion. Blitz is coming. Oh, and Gillis gets drilled. He didn't have a chance to do anything. And he asked who is supposed to block that guy. Yeah, Gillis got drilled there. They sent a blitzer up the middle, and nobody picked him up. Okay, Anderson's first punt. Got John Michael Willems back to punt.
I guess you can't score on every possession, but it was nice to get used to for a minute. Gillis kind of has his head down, but I think he's okay.
There's a snap. Not much of a rush. There is a boomer of a punt, nice and high, and it's dropped, and it's picked up. Nope, you can't run it back. Clank recovered it, but you can't run it. You can't. That's a muff. You can't run that back. He was headed for the end zone, but you can't run the muffs back.
Well, we take possession at the 25. This will be the best starting field position for the Bearcats all night. Not that they've needed it, with touchdowns all over 50 yards so far.
Well, John Michael might not kick the ball far, but he kicks it a mile high.
That was a college-level punt. That one right there was a college-level punt.
Anderson has Labhart in the backfield, 2 receivers. Gillis is going back. Oh, they've got Collins wide open, and there's a touchdown. They ran the wheel route out of the backfield, and Collins was wide open.
Yeah, there was nobody out there. That didn't account for him at all. It wasn't the prettiest pitch and catch, but it got the job done.
That's been a staple of Mark Peach's offense. If they have a back that can catch the ball out of the backfield, they're going to run that wheel route several times a game. Okay, rewind in once again to kick the extra point. And it's good. With 10:09 to go in the first half, Anderson 28, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
All right, we're back. Second quarter, 10:09 to go, 28-0. Anderson County Bearcats dominating over the GRC Cardinals. About to kick off for the fourth time.
Wesley Ruwine, and I understand we've got okay, all right. We've got watchers from Arkansas, Texas, and Florida. Hello, Joyce. How you doing?
So far, this has been a complete obliteration of the GRC Cardinals.
Ruwine gets his foot into that one, and it's back into the end zone, and GRC will take it on the 20-yard line.
Keith, could you draw it up any better than this so far?
No, not a chance, not a chance. 28 to nothing Bearcats. Defense back out on the field. GRC has one first down. All Anderson scores have been on long plays.
Yeah, I just want to note that we're up here between the coaching staffs of GRC and Anderson County, so we're trying not to be too offensive, but this is not a good game so far for GRC.
GRC goes four wide with a tight end. Put a man in motion. Oh, there's a fumble, and GRC got it. I don't know how well that was going to work. Derringer was back there in a heartbeat. That's a loss of 5.
Just sloppy ball handling there. We got to remember, this is also the first game for both teams. Anderson County brings back a good chunk of its starters from last year, so that's helpful.
It is. Coach Peach has really been high on this bunch from day one. GRC puts 2 receivers this way. Have a slot. There's a counter play up the middle, and that was Cornish that missed him, and Castle brought him down, but it's going to be 3rd and 8.
Scoreboard listed as it's a long 7 or a short 8. There we go. I'd like to thank our spotter, which is no one. We're trying to catch it all.
GRC puts 2 receivers each way. Put a man in motion. Quarterback's back, looking right, throws it out there, and it's behind the receiver. Oh, there's 15 yards on GRC.
Just can't do that.
Yeah, there's 15 yards on GRC.
Just can't do that. They're going to be punting from their end zone or near it.
Unless, I was going to say the only thing I could think of would be on us would be a taunt penalty, but I don't think that's going to happen. Now GRC,
yeah, they're going back.
They're going way back. And that's going to be 15 yards against GRC for unsportsmanlike conduct.
The referees are marked here, believe it or not. Okay, if I can get there.
Okay, we've got a punt coming. We've got Labhart and Collins back. Anderson usually tries to get on a punt block in this situation, but it doesn't look like they are. It looks like they might be trying to get a little pressure from the left-hand side here.
They only have their guys back to the 40, so this bodes well.
There's a snap. There's the kick. It's end over end. Collins is backing up. The ball is bouncing to the 42-yard line where Anderson will take over 1st and 10. With 8:16 to go in the first half. Anderson 28, GRC nothing.
This is a chance to take this game over, right? I mean, up 28-0, you've already taken over, but it's a chance to really put an exclamation point on it in the first half.
Well, knowing Coach Peach as I do, if we get a touchdown here, we're going for 2-point conversion, get a run on the clock.
Yeah, and I think that's probably appropriate here. This game has not been competitive up to this point. Been a couple of mistakes, but still not a lot of.
Oh, good block there. Collins has it getting to the outside, and he's knocked down on the 27-yard line. Boy, Brendan Klink just leveled GRC player coming across there. First and 10 Bearcats. Anderson puts 2 wides to the far side, 1 to this side. Collins is in motion. There's Labhart, and he's driving, and he's going to get about a yard, maybe 2. Okay, now we have the camera on the Bearcat Den. There's the self-styled rowdiest student section in the state. Want to say hi to all of them. They usually yell and taunt and cheer, and they have a large time during the ball games. Anderson puts 3 receivers to the far side. Okay, guys, we don't have any more timeouts left. You got to you've got to get this right. And that's 4 timeouts. No. That is just 3. That one that
they got a penalty.
They got a penalty on that other one.
They might have been better off to take a penalty there than to use their last one, but that's
Well, there's
first game.
We're in these sets where we've got 3 and 4 wide receivers. Somebody's having trouble lining up.
We're gonna work on that next week.
Doesn't really matter when you're up 4.
We were just talking to the coaches. They don't seem to be concerned at this point.
Well, if you're ahead 28-0, it's a good time to get these things worked out. Okay, let's see what we got here. We've got 3 receivers to the far side, 1 back. We've got the receivers. Looks like they're in a stack. Now they spread out a little bit. Got them outnumbered on that side. There's a handoff to Labhart, and boy, he's collared by a large individual on GRC's team. And
that's number 78. And I'll get you his name.
Biggin.
Yeah, he's a big fella. Devontae Boyd, 6'1.5", 300. He's a senior.
He put a big hug on Mr. Labhart, and that was about the size of it. Okay, Anderson's in roughly the same formation. Gillis is rolling, and we've got whistles calling the play dead. We've got procedure on Anderson.
False start.
Yeah. That's going to make it 3rd and 14.
As we said, not every possession can be perfect, and this one's been far from it. To get a turnover like that and then to not be able to convert it.
Going backwards. Okay, Anderson puts 2 receivers to this side, 1 to the far side. Man in motion. They were throwing a little slip screen there to Zach Schaus, and it just went right through his hands.
What do you do here? 3rd and 14. You can't really punt.
I think that. Nope, they are going to punt. They're going to punt and back them up.
Be nice to see a little coffin corner kick here.
Now that is a lost art.
It really is.
That is a lost art.
Except at the pro level where they're pretty good at it.
Yeah. And looks like GRC's calling timeout with 6:05 to go in the first half. Anderson ahead 28-0.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Lawrenceburg, where Anderson County has a commanding 28-0 lead. 6:05 to go here in the second quarter. With the ball on the 34-yard line, 4th down.
4th and 14. Willems is back. There's a shank. That's all you can say about that. But it's going to be a 4-yard punt.
They're going to give it to him on the 26.
Uh-huh.
From the 34. Not exactly what they were hoping for.
No, they had the idea of the coffin corner, but left a lot to be desired there.
Sometimes the execution is lacking. But so far, no complaints about this first half. 28-0 lead, long touchdown runs, dominating the line of scrimmage, turnovers.
GRC empties the backfield, puts 3 wide to the far side, 2 wide to this side, and a stack. Anderson's moving around. Quarterback's back. He's being chased, and there's nobody there. There's a
flag down where he was tackled.
I don't know whether that's roughing the passer or grounding.
We'll see. I think it's grounding.
It is grounding. Yeah,
that's a loss of down as well.
That's I can't keep. Looks like 5 yards. Okay, I can't keep the pro and the college and all that straight.
I think it's either a 10 or 15-yard penalty.
Okay, looks like must be in high school. Must be 5.
Must be 5.
So that makes it 2nd and 15. That's loss of down. Yep. However, the guys holding the chains hadn't figured it out. Now I thought it was from where he threw it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. It's where he threw the ball from.
Yeah, okay.
And it's 2nd. Heck, I don't know anymore.
It's 2nd and the longest play they've had all game.
I was getting ready to say it's I don't.
Ball's on the 10 right now.
Yeah. And they have to go to the 37.
2nd and 27.
GRC puts 2 wides to the far side. Backs in the eye. There's handoff up the middle, and there's not much there. Ryan Stratton had a handful of jersey and wasn't going to let go.
Brandon Aldridge is also there.
It's going to make it 3rd and a long way.
Third and 22 on the scoreboard.
GRC puts 1 wide to this side, 2 to the far side. Man in motion. Quarterback's going out there deep, and they've got a man out there open, and there's a first down. That's a gain of about 30. Chilton got over there to knock him out, but they ran a wheel war out that time because that was the back coming out of the backfield, and we didn't pick him up at all. Anderson got a little bit of his own medicine that time.
Really was. There was a man out there, but just not close, not anywhere near close enough.
1st and 10 on the 45, 2 receivers to the far side. Quarterback's going back again. Anderson's trying to get pressure. He's rolling out to the side, and he's wrapped up over there by Wilhite. Gain of maybe 1.
Just nowhere to go with the ball right there.
2nd and 10. Four and a half to go in the first half.
Anderson County's defense has been out there longer than their offense. I can see a couple of hands on hips already.
Yeah, there's all kinds of motion for GRC. Anderson's defense is moving around. Quarterback's in the shotgun going straight back. Anderson's trying to get pressure. And he runs into a bunch of Bearcats on the 50-yard line. That's going to make it 3rd and 5. That was Cornish and Derringer.
57, Derringer just kind of comes up a little slow.
Yeah, they've got
seriously
wrong. They've got
come out of the game.
They've got Castle coming in.
Nope.
Well, wait a minute. We got too many. We're sending off too many. Okay, now we're getting the proper amount of people out there. That's Dylan Davis, 62.
3rd and 5, right in midfield here.
Unbalanced line. Hand off up the middle, and there's a first down. That's Maxbury. Maxbury and Chilton on the Anderson 44.
Pretty simple run right there. Just line up and go.
And they've got the trainer looking at Derringer now. The official stopped the clock so they could get Derringer back off the field a little bit.
He's sitting there on the ground. He doesn't look to be in great distress, but both trainers by his side.
I think we've got a water timeout here. Okay, yeah, I think we've got a water timeout here. Yeah. Okay, we've got 3:16 to go in the first half. Anderson 28, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is.
Little counter play. He missed in the backfield. And that was Chilton. Couldn't tell who else was over there. He was missed in the backfield. That's a gain of, it's like a gain of 5.
GRC starting to have a little success on the ground here. A couple of chunk plays, 5 or 6 yards at a time.
2nd and 5 for GRC.
This is the best sustained drive of the game that GRC has had.
They've got a wing and a wide, put a man in motion, shifts to the far side. Quarterback's going straight back. They're going out there deep. Turn around, guys, and incomplete. That was Chilton that was right with the GRC receiver. Down on the, well, I was going to say it's down on the goal line, but they've got the goal line sign on the 5. I just noticed that. It's going to make it 3rd and 5, and I would say this is probably 2-down territory for GRC.
Yeah, I don't think they have much choice here. They're on the right side of the field for the first time for them all this evening.
You've got a wing, a wide. There's a handoff right up the middle, and he's gotten to the outside. He's missed, and he's knocked out by, there's a flag. We're going to get 15 yards. We got a late hit there by somebody. I'm not sure who that was, but it was a late hit.
The fans don't agree with the call, but you saw it.
I know Russell was one of them that was in there. I don't know if he got the tackle or the late hit. And that's going to take the ball down to the 14-yard line.
That's not the kind of play
13.
you want to see at this point in the game, especially with a 28-0 lead. Just to reset real quick, 2:58 to go here in the second quarter. Bearcats 28, GRC nothing. GRC knocking on the door, 1st and 10 on the 13-yard line.
GRC's trying to they do get a man to the outside, and he's knocked down short of the goal line, but I think he's got a first down. GRC's kind of found a home there on the left side of their offensive line. And
it'll be 1st and goal from the 4-yard line, looks like.
Yeah, second and short from the 4.
Oh, they're saying it's short. Okay.
Yep.
It's 2nd and inches then.
Yeah. Like I say, GRC's found a home on the left side of their line.
Anderson's moving around while the play is going on.
There's a little counter play there, and that tackles by Cornish, but I think they got enough to get the first down.
You got a GRC lineman limping right here.
Ball looks like it's on the 3. 1st and goal for GRC. GRC's in an I.
Clock running, minute 43.
There's a little flag.
False start.
Legal procedure against GRC.
That's got to be heartbreaking for the Cardinals. Right there knocking on the door.
1st and goal at the 8. They had a good play call because they had a receiver that broke wide open. But I guess if you're in motion, you can do that.
Let's see if they run that same thing again. I look for them to go to the left-hand side, even though it's the short side of the field.
Yeah, they've had a lot of success on their left-hand side.
They're running away from Big 68 in there. Can't say I blame them.
GRC's got receivers left and right. Max Berry slowed him down, and then Labhart, Derringer, and Rewind came in, and that's a loss of about 4. So that's going to make it 2nd and goal from the 13, and GRC takes timeout with 52.5 seconds to go in the first half.
Bringing down.
History Bank, Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Welcome back to Lawrenceburg. GRC knocking on the door, 2nd and 12 here at the end of the first half. Ball on the 12.
It's a little different formation they've got. There's that off the left-hand side. Not this time. That was big Jacob Luster.
Now they have to hurry.
Scrap.
They take a timeout.
And Scrap Russell. And GRC takes their second. Well, takes their last time out according to the scoreboard. So with 39.8 seconds to go, it's 3rd and goal from the 12.
Keith, we were just talking a second ago while we were in commercial. Looks like some of these young Bearcats are a little out of steam here. It's not hot by any stretch, but it's not cool tonight, and it's muggy out.
Well, you got so many of these guys, especially the linemen, are going both ways.
Yeah.
And that
and GRC is rushing out to the line right now. With 3rd and 10, well, only 40 seconds to go, they don't have to throw, but they may want to throw.
They've got 2 receivers to the far side. There's a draw play, and he's down at the 8. GRC's got to hurry.
26 seconds to go here at the end of the half. GRC's lining up.
Anderson doesn't have anybody out there on one of their receivers. There's a handoff up the – I don't believe that call. There was stopped for no gain. My goodness. And Anderson had one receiver that was totally uncovered. And
that was a fortunate turn of events. They did have a receiver on the left-hand side that was uncovered. But for GRC, they really didn't have time to get a play set in there. They just had to run one play. I think that's all they had called, so they ran that play. Bearcats are going to escape trouble here.
Yeah, they're up there in fall down formation. And Gillis takes a knee, and that's the end of the first half. Anderson 28, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Pharmacist. Oh, okay.
Patty.
Just we live in a world that tells us how to be. Just be calm. Be funny. Just be honest. But no matter what the world says, how should you live your life? be cool. People would have you believe that you must conform, stay in line, and be like everybody else. But what if I want to do my own thing and live my own life? Is it possible to just listen to the world and just be myself? As I live my life, I try to soften the noise of the world. But the more I keep pushing, the louder it gets.
Welcome back to Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, where the Anderson County Bearcats have a commanding 28-0 lead at halftime over the GRC Cardinals. We're about a minute away from the start of the second half. We want to run down some stats from the first half. Collins, 5 runs, 92 yards, Keith, and a touchdown with a long of 67. Just unstoppable.
When he gets in the open, he is. Now, the stats for Lab aren't right. They've got him with a 45-yard loss, and he didn't lose 45 yards on any play. So I'm really not sure how many yards he's got, but that's not right.
Max Berry had 2 runs for 36. Jagger Gillis, 2 for 23. And Zach Labhart, 4 for 54. Anderson County just dominated the line of scrimmage, dominated everywhere in that first half.
Okay, one thing I do want to point out is Colton Cornish had 7.5 tackles in the first half.
How many for loss? They have a loss?
1. Now, Zach Labhart they say Zach had 3. So, okay, Bearcats getting ready to kick off here, start of the second half.
We'd like to welcome everyone that is on our Facebook page on Anderson County Sports TV, and we're also broadcasting this now on Central Kentucky Sports Facebook page. That's centralkysports.com. Brought to you by many fine sponsors, including Clint Goins, Realtor. And we're about to get underway here in the second half.
Okay, Rewind's ready to kick off. He's kicking from this close hash. Students are doing their pre-kickoff jump around.
Keith, the field is held up.
Yes, it has. And there's a line drive that is driving the receiver back into the end zone, and GRC will take over on the 20. The first 2 kicks Rewind had, first one out of bounds and the second one was short, but those last 2 have sailed back into the end zone.
We noted at the end of the first half that the Bearcats seemed to be out of gas a little bit, and we'll see what a breather in the locker room has done for them here as we start the second half.
Well, I noticed that they've got A.J. Castle out there trying to see whose place he's taking. I can't see who the
big 68's out.
Yep. Okay. Then they've got him in instead of Williamson. GRC has a man wide. There's a little counter play, and there's Cornish and Aldridge on the tackle. That's a gain of 5.
GRC kind of picking up where they left off. Their best possession of the half was the last possession of the half where they marched it down. They had a 1st and goal on the 2 and managed to get no points out of it.
GRC has 2 wides. Man in motion. There's a little delay, and that's going to be close to a first down.
I think he's about 1.5 yards short.
That's Landry, and what do we got? We got somebody down.
Got an injury timeout here.
Yeah, GRC had somebody down. That was Landry in there on that tackle. Now we've got Williamson coming back in. It's going to be 3rd and short for GRC.
They're going to be lucky to get this playoff.
Yeah, they had time. They had the time clock stopped for the injury. They just started the clock just a second ago. GRC puts 2 wides. Unbalanced to the far side, and he didn't get it. He ran into that middle of Anderson's line, and he did not get a thing.
Anderson ran out 5 linemen that time.
That was Stratton and Williamson and Aldridge in there. And GRC's got a man down.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
We're back. 10:34 here to go in the third quarter. Anderson County continues to lead 28-0. The George Rogers Clark Cardinals have a player down.
They're looking at looks like they're looking at a knee.
Even the Anderson County fans have requested quiet. And the Anderson County players are taking a knee on the field at this time, as well as the GRC sideline. I didn't see what happened there.
Yeah, they ran into the line. There was just a big pile up in the middle there, and he had probably gotten caught in the middle of that pile up, and as we know, there's lots of things go on in the pile ups.
One of the Anderson coaches tell us that he saw the play and the young man got hit from behind and low. I want to right now go over some of the GRC stats for the first half. Latavius Thomas had 56 yards. His long was 13 for an average of 3.4. Azariah Israel, 2 attempts for 10 yards. And Will Henry, the quarterback, 6 attempts for 5 and 29 loss, so a net of negative 24. And a lot of that was on that one play where he goes back and finds nothing, turns around, goes back, finds nothing, pursued, and then tackled for about a 15-yard loss at the time. GRC really struggled there in the first quarter to get anything going on offense.
Yeah, they did. I know Coach Peach talked to me before the ball game. He was really worried about their speed. That the number like I said, at number 21, he's Latavius Thomas. He's the leading returning rusher in Class 6A this year.
6'2", 220 pounds. I mean, he's not to be trifled with, and you know, for a high school cornerback or safety, he is going to have about 30 to 40 pounds on most of those guys, and probably a little bit of speed too. But what's really been interesting tonight is the Bearcats have managed to bottle everything toward the middle with their big defensive line. 400 pounds on one of the kids there, and the other side is not small. The 88 Bengals had the biggest offensive line in football that year. They averaged 280 pounds, and some of these kids are way bigger than those guys.
Well, they, in the scrimmage against Bourbon County, they said Bourbon County did not make a first down.
And Bourbon County is returning a pretty decent team.
So
now we've got a cart that's coming onto the field, and this is
not good.
Yeah, we're not going to speculate as to what's happening, but why don't we take a break for a moment, and we'll come back when we get this situation cleared up on the field, and we'll have more Anderson County football. 28-0 here in the third quarter.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Welcome back to Lawrenceburg. Anderson County High School Bearcats, 28-0 lead here, 10:34 to go. In the third quarter, we had a player for GRC taken off the field.
We think it was number 78, Devontae Boyd, 6'1", 300 pounds. Knee's never a good thing, and GRC's going for it on 4th and 1. And that's going to be close. I'm not sure. Let's see where they spot it. They're signaling first. They're signaling first down. I thought that was really going to be close. And I think he fell forward enough. Anderson has a player down.
As we said earlier, the field conditions weren't particularly great because we had a hard downpour right before the game. The field is in fine shape, but it's hard to take a drenching like that and not have some effect.
Okay, looks like GRC did get the first down. The Anderson player, they look like they're working out cramps. But it's hard to say. They had his leg lifted up working on it.
It is humid here tonight. It's not particularly warm. It's just the air is wet.
Okay, they've got him up. That's
73.
That's 73. That's Brandon Aldridge. Brandon will have to come out.
Yeah, he's limping toward the sideline now.
Okay.
If you've ever had a cramp, it's no fun.
No, it's not. Okay, GRC just got that first down on 4th down. They've got receivers left and right. Wing. Now they shift the wing. Quarterback's rolling. We're after him. They're going out here deep, and it's incomplete.
Fooled the cameraman there. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We had pressure there by Derringer on the quarterback. That fake didn't fool him at all. Quarterback just led the receiver just a little bit too much. 2nd and 10 for GRC.
Anderson County had run 4 linemen most of the first half, but they have 5 in there now. 2 backers and
there's a little it's probably a good thing he probably didn't want to get hit there. Anderson had 5 defensive linemen in there, and now they're putting a linebacker in, taking Will Height and taking out a lineman.
3rd and 10, 10:07 to go. 2 consecutive passes. We haven't seen that all night.
No. GRC has 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to this side. Now flip the tight end. Quarterback's back. They're coming across the middle. Oh, boy. And Ruwine got there at the same time as the ball did. Good play by Wesley. And GRC's going to.
Yeah, they're going to punt, I think.
Yep. We got too many people out there.
GRC hasn't been particularly successful punting the ball tonight.
We
2 for 74 for an average of 37. That's not bad, actually.
Okay, Anderson's got okay, here we go. I was going to say there was an uncovered receiver. Now Anderson's coming up.
They're going to try to block it.
I think they're looking for the fake. They're thinking maybe there's going to be a fake. And there's an end-over-end kick that, boy, I wish I could get a golf ball to bite like that. Jiminy Christmas, that thing hit and bit on the 41-yard line, where Anderson will take over 1st and 10 on the GRC 41. I think they were trying to draw Anderson offside.
Either way, it wasn't a good punt.
No. 1st and 10 for the Bearcats.
Keith, we were talking earlier about a potential running clock. What happens if Anderson County gets up 36 points?
Then the clock runs continuously except during timeouts. There's a snap. Gillis is rolling. Oh, he had Woolhams across the middle, and the pass was just a little bit low.
Penalty in the backfield.
We've got a penalty in the backfield. Personal foul, roughing the passer on GRC.
I was watching the ball. I didn't see what happened back there. But the game it's been chippy at times, but not particularly.
Okay, that's going to take the ball down inside the 30, I believe. Yeah, down to the 28-yard line where Anderson will have it 1st and 10. Anderson has receivers left and right. Got a man in the slot. Man in motion. There's a counter play to Labhart, and
ball.
I didn't know if they'd blown the whistle or not. I was going to say
not.
They had not. Apparently not. And let's see who gets it.
He was on his back when he fumbled, which would make him
Looks
down.
like Anderson. Looks like Anderson. Looks like Anderson got it. That's Ryan Stratton that came up with it.
Crisis averted here. Brings up 2nd down.
And 2nd and 10. And we've got timeout. Timeout Anderson. 9:41 to go in the 3rd quarter. Anderson 28, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Okay, here we go. 2nd and 11 for Anderson. They've got 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to this side. Put Collins in motion. Oh, the snap gets through Gillis's hands. He's running around, and boy, they let. Oh boy,
that's a late hit.
Yeah, there we go. We got that one. Yeah, that was a late hit there. There wasn't any excuse for that. Good thing about that is that's an automatic 1st down too.
Gillis
was on the ground on his back when they hit him. That's 15 yards. And I'm pretty sure that's an automatic 1st down.
Well, that's definitely an automatic 1st down. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't warn the sidelines here. Because it's 2 straight penalties where we've had a personal foul or roughing the passer. Just taking shots at the quarterback at this point.
You know, I tell you what, I did just notice that the referees are mic'd up. You said that earlier, and it just kind of went over my head, but I just noticed they're mic'd up. Now, with this lineup, it wouldn't surprise me to see us going to Wishbone.
They're calling this 3rd and 8 on the scoreboard, so I'm not sure why that wasn't an automatic 1st down.
I'm not either. Yeah, we're in the Wishbone here. Here comes the pitch this way to Collins, and he fumbles
Ball
again.
on the ground.
And GRC's got it.
First turnover of the game there
Yeah.
for Anderson County.
I think Collins had the first down.
He did. He was well beyond the sticks there.
I thought that was a first down, but yeah, when they put all those big guys in there and they had Colton Cornish in the backfield at fullback, yeah, you pretty sure they were going wishbone there. GRC recovers on their own 19.
That's on the 14 there.
14. Had a lot happen with less than 3 minutes gone in this quarter.
Yeah, this quarter is dragged on. GRC came out passing, and Anderson County came out fumbling and getting personal
high
fouls.
Snap. There's a handoff this way, and boy, he's in trouble. And that was Cornish.
He got about a yard, maybe not even a yard. Looks like no gain.
Going to be second and 10. And once that snap was high, it threw the timing off just enough to let Cornish come crashing down through there.
GRC began the game trying to run up the middle. They quickly discovered that wasn't going to work, and they've tried some sweeps and to get on the outside.
There's an attempted play to the outside, and that was Russell and Chilton shut that down. So it's third and 8 for GRC.
Yeah, that wasn't even close. It looked like the running back had a good head of steam, and then the gap just was gone.
GRC puts 3 receivers this way. There's a snap. It's a little high again. We're after him, and we've got another flag down. I think we've got a roughing the passer.
54 really cleaned up the end of that play, but
yeah, I thought there was a flag in the backfield. Anderson has somebody down with a cramp. But I saw the flag. I thought maybe that was roughing the passer. And it is. 15 yards against Anderson.
yeah, Colton Cornish, the senior, really cleaned up at the end of that play, but for nothing.
Okay, that gives GRC a first down on their own 34-yard line. It's all of a sudden turned into a flag fest. You've got Derringer out. Luster's in. GRC puts a man in motion. There's a run up the middle, and that was Williamson.
68, just bottled it up.
No gain on it. Well, it gave him maybe a half a yard.
GRC did manage 7 first downs in the first half.
GRC's got 2 wides to that far side, 1 wide to this side. Quarterback's under center. He's going straight back. They're trying to throw over the middle, and that would not have been a happy day for the receiver if he'd have caught that, because Anderson had somebody coming really hard. I think that was Ruwine. Was coming really, really hard at the receiver.
Brings up 3rd and 9, and that's been a real trouble spot for GRC tonight. Anderson's been really good on 3rd down. I expect to see another pass here.
GRC's taking an awfully long time here.
Anderson Bearcats defense can use all the rest it can get. They were out there for 15 minutes of the first half.
GRC has Three receiver. There's the delay of game. There's the one we've been waiting for. It's going to make it 3rd and 14.
And that's the kind of mental mistakes you just can't make if you're trying to get back in a ball game.
No.
7 minutes to go in the third quarter, down 28 points. Just can't have those kinds of mistakes.
Okay,
Even in the first game of the season.
GRC has 2 wides to this side, 1 to the far side. The snap's a little high, and Anderson's after him. Quarterback is in trouble, and that was Will Height that knocked him down.
Either no gain or maybe a yard.
And the punt team comes out. Collins and Labhart.
Last punt went for 6 yards.
Guys, you need to get up there. They're ready to punt. Anderson's really playing it loose. I'm not sure they believe they're going to punt. There's a snap. There's an end-over-end punt that is going out of bounds on the Anderson 41-yard line, where they'll take over 1st and 10 with 6:33 to go in the third quarter, leading 28-0. And see if the offense can get something going here instead of going in reverse like they did last time.
You think you might see more of that wishbone this time?
I do. I think that's what you're going to. I think they're, because we've taken most of the receivers out.
Yeah, I think Coach Peach is just in grind down mode here. Just move the chains, and move the clock.
Yep. No, we're not. I thought we were coming out in the wishbone, but we're not.
The shotgun.
There's the handoff. I think that was Lab. Yeah, that was Lab. He gets 7. Going to be 2nd and 3.
Looks to give him 6. It'll be 2nd and 4.
2nd and 4. We got people starting to cramp up. I see Will Height pulling back on his calf.
$28-0 here in the third quarter.
Anderson's in the pistol. There's a handoff to Labhart, and he's got the first down on the GRC 47-yard line.
And Coach Peach has to be excited to see his guys just come out and grind on this team with a big lead like this. It's time to chew clock.
Well, I know last year against Madison Southern, who was supposed to have had one of the best defenses in the state, they came out and ran a whole lot of wishbone, and it was just as you said, just ground it out. Anderson has receivers left and right.
They're running sort of a modified wishbone. It's a pistol wishbone.
Yeah.
They're out of the shotgun, but they got 3 backs.
There's the pitch this way to Collins. He cuts it up and maybe gets a yard.
And while those kinds of plays are not home runs, they're what you need right now. The clock has moved more in the last 10 minutes in real time than it has in the last 30. I look for the Anderson to get their timeout issue cleared up this half. It plays in, plays out.
Okay, Anderson has 2 wides and a wing. Put Collins in motion. Gillis is back, and I don't know what happened there. I think it just slipped out of his hand. That thing went straight up. I think that just slipped out of Gillis's hand.
The referee blew the play dead, and I'm not sure why they blew the play dead.
Yeah, he made the motion. It was the forward pass.
Forward motion, okay.
Yeah.
So tuck rule here in Lawrenceburg tonight. Either way, Bearcats dodge a bullet there. Third and 10.
3rd and 10. Have 2 wings and a wide. And
dead.
We've got timeout GRC. Okay, 4:34 to go in the third quarter. Anderson 28, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The officials called a touchdown, and we looked at it.
Welcome back to Lawrenceburg. 28-0 Anderson County Bearcats over the GRC Cardinals. 4:34 to go here in the third quarter. Anderson County facing a 3rd and 10. I'm Lanny Brannick along with Keith Klink, the voice of the Bearcats. Keith?
Okay. Yes. Anderson has
good game so far.
For Anderson. Gillis is back. They've got a screen set up, and that was a good play. They had a screen set up over here for Collins, and one of the rushing GRC linemen knocked it down. Anderson's going to punt now.
Gillis took a couple of really hard shots. He got up slowly, but he's coming off now. He seems to be okay. He's taking a few hard shots tonight.
Yeah. 4th and 9 for Anderson. Woolhams is back to punt. And GRC doesn't look like they believe it. They've got 10 guys close to the line. Let's see how many of them they rush.
Looks like all of them.
Uh-huh. There's a snap. It's a good one. Woolhams gets the kickoff. It's a nice high kick that's going to go out of bounds around the 10-yard line.
We talked about the coffin corner.
Yes. Yep. That's
apparently the art is not lost altogether.
That was a nice punt. He got good snap. Got it off quick.
GRC did have 2 rushers pretty much bearing down on him, but he got it away and it was clean and high.
Unless you're really quick, it's hard to get that out. If you get any kind of decent snap at all, it's hard to get a block from the outside like that. 4:25 to go in the third quarter. 28-0 Bearcats.
You got to think GRC just looking to get any sort of momentum here. Their tailback, number 21, has really been stuffed all night.
You've got 2 wides to this side, 1 to the far side. Anderson's defense is moving around. Quarterback's going back. They're going up the middle, and it's long. Their receiver looked like he pulled up. He looks like he's cramped too. He pulled up a little lame on that. Coach Peach said they like to throw deep, so we might see a lot of that the rest of the way.
The Bearcats seem fresher this half than they did at the end of the first half.
GRC puts 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to this side. Man in motion. There's a handoff, and there's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I have to remark at this point about the uniform of.
There's a handoff, and there's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I have to remark at this point about
on that tackle. They just stacked that up. It's 3rd and 10, back on just over the 10-yard line.
He just caked in mud.
GRC puts 2 wides to the far side, 1 to this side. Quarterback's back. Anderson's getting pressure, and That is not a catch. That is not a catch. Official was right on top of that, said it bounced. Got Collins back for Anderson, Collins and Labhart.
4th and 10. I mean, they not much choice but to punt from your own 11. Bearcats managed to stack them up on 1st and 2nd down, and just not a lot of time to throw there.
Both Anderson's punt receivers are inside the 40. Anderson looks like it might be trying to get a little rush from the outside. The punt bounced. Collins is taking it, and boy, he got hit, and GRC recovered it. Oh, my goodness, he's lucky he's getting up, and the defense has to go back out again. Hit 28-0. That was not the play. Hit, and GRC recovered it. Oh, my goodness, he's lucky he's getting up, and the defense has to go back out again. Hit 28, drop it, and that's what happens.
It's hard to blame an athlete that can catch the ball on the fly and run forward.
Yeah.
But he had it, and then he was hit pretty hard.
3:24 to go in the third. GRC has 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to this side. Flop the tight end to the other side. Quarterback's rolling, and that's got to be grounding. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They had Derringer was back there in his pocket. That's the second time that's happened. He's run that play action pass, and we just ignored the play, and it was all action on Derringer's part.
One of the things I see that I like about Anderson is their discipline on defense. They do account for the quarterback.
It's 2nd and about 24. There's a handoff off tackle. And there's Labhart and Chilton in on the tackle. That's a gain of 7. Going to be 3rd and 13.
One of the better runs of the night for GRC.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to like running to the left side of their line.
I just think they prefer running on the right side of Anderson County's line.
I don't know. You got big Williamson there.
Yeah, well, he's on the left side right now.
Yeah. 2 receivers this way, 1 to the far side. There's a snap. Quarterback's getting pressure, and there's a catch, but it's going to be well short of the first down. That's a gain of about 6. Quarterback's getting pressure, and there's a catch, but it's going to be well short of the first down. And it looks like they are. It looks like GRC's going for it, 4th and 7.
They got a chunk, and now they have something that's somewhat manageable. 4th and a long 7, though. Officially 4th and 8 with 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
GRC puts trips to this side. There's a snap. Quarterback's going straight back. Anderson's after him, and that's an incomplete pass. There was Scrap Russell back on the coverage on that one. They had Jacob Luster was back there trying to get to the quarterback.
Thanks, everyone, for watching this Anderson County Sports TV production and watching on CentralKYSports.com and Central Kentucky Sports Facebook.
Anderson's in the wishbone. There's the pitch to Labhart. He cuts it back and takes it inside the 35 to the 33. There's the pitch to Labhart. He cuts it back and takes it inside the 35. Anderson.
We got just about a minute 30 to go here in the third quarter. And Anderson County's in grind mode.
Dale and I always used to like to say, it's just like McDonald's, we're grinding it out. Anderson is the wishbone. They've got Cornish in as the lead back, double tight. And we've got a flag.
It's going to be offsides.
They're pointing to GRC. They're pointing at yeah.
Maybe lined up in the neutral zone.
Oh, offside on Anderson, okay.
Anderson County lined up offsides.
Yep.
I'm sure the game film will show who that was, but we're not going to say.
Okay, it's 2nd and 12. Anderson's going with a wide receiver package here.
This could be the last play of the third quarter if they move along here.
There's a snap. There's Labhart on the sweep to the far side. He's running loose down the sideline, and he's in for the touchdown. Boy, they ran a short side sweep there, and there wasn't anybody on the outside. Now Anderson's going for 2.
That play didn't look like much. It just.
Well, to be honest, I tell you what, it looked like the same play that they scored on the first play of the game.
Yeah, it was kind of slow in developing, and it looked like he was going to go out of bounds, and then he didn't. Well, they're going to line up the kick here, so they're not worried about the running clock.
No.
Oh, no, okay.
No, we're going to have to call timeout here.
Well, we got a timeout on the field with Anderson County about to go for 2 here in the third quarter. 32 seconds to go on a long touchdown run.
It was Labhart second of the game.
So let's tell the fans why Anderson County is going for 2. This is not to rub it in.
No, this is to have a running clock the rest of the game. Anderson scores here, gets the 2 points. You have a running clock the rest of the game. It shortens the game. It gives a lot less chance of being injured.
And we've already had a GRC player that was taken off the field on a cart. We got not a sloppy field, but a muddy field for sure. Wet field. We've had a number of turnovers tonight. I don't know if it was because of the wet ball and the wet field or just because of first game jitters, but it's not been the prettiest game.
Anderson's in the wishbone. There's the pitch this way to Collins, and he fumbles it, and they didn't get in the end zone. Okay, with 32 seconds to go in the third quarter, Anderson 34, GRC nothing. And
today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
I got you. Go ahead. Welcome back, folks, to Lawrenceburg, to the Anderson County Bearcats. Domination of the GRC Cardinals. Anderson County leads 34-0 with 32 seconds to go in the third quarter. We just had an injury on the field.
Yeah, the GRC player got up and walking off under his own power. We've got.
I'm Lanny Brannick here with Keith Klink, the voice of the Bearcats. Keith, total annihilation. We kind of wanted to see a running clock and a 2-point conversion there just to kind of get this thing over with. Didn't happen. But this Anderson County team has come out and really taken it to the GRC Cardinals.
Well, the the first 4 series they had, they looked as good as you could look, and it's one kind of these, okay, we're ahead 28-0, let's get this over with type of deal.
Yeah.
They really hadn't been as efficient this half, and a lot of the second quarters they were the first half. But as far as an opening game, it's about as good as you could do.
This is an important quarter for Anderson County, just because they get to play some guys that they wouldn't normally play, to get some experience early on in the season.
There's a short kickoff. They're taking it to the outside. Labhart misses him, and I'm trying to see who that was that made the tackle. That was Scrap, and Ruwine is limping. I don't know if he cramped up or what happened to him, but Ruwine's limping.
That's the best offensive play of the game for GRC.
Yeah. 1st and 10 for GRC on their own 42.
GRC still has their starters out there.
2 wides this way. There's a handoff over their left-hand side, and that was Will Height and Castle that brought him down. That's going to be your last play of the third quarter. And the score is going to be 34.
Well, they're going to try to get one off.
They better hustle. They did get it off. Oh, they went to this side this time, and that was Aldridge that made the tackle. So going into the fourth quarter, Anderson 34, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Welcome back to Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Anderson County Bearcats 34, George Rogers Clark Cardinals nothing. I'm Lanny Brannick along with Keith Klink, the voice of the Bearcats.
3rd and 9 for GRC. And
forgot to change sides.
They forgot to change sides. Well, it's not 3rd and 9, it's 3rd and 1. Makes a big difference which way you're going.
GRC still has their starters in there, and they're not giving up. I can say that for them.
There's quarterback sneak, and there's a first down on the Anderson 45.
As I was saying before, this gives the Anderson County team a chance to play some of their young guys. If they play their young guys. Keith is shaking his head no, that they're not doing that.
GRC's in an eye, put a man in motion. There's a snap, and there's a ball, and Aldridge has it. And now Chilton has it. I don't know if Chilton fumbled it or what. But that's a touchdown. I couldn't tell what happened to that ball.
I didn't know what happened either.
Now
I saw a ball. I saw a guy running with the ball. I saw another guy running with the ball. Now we've got a flag.
We've got 2 flags. And Anderson has a player down out here that's cramping. They've got Mark's working on his leg. So we've got two flags. I'm wondering if maybe that was a forward lateral.
I saw the big guy running with the ball, and he was down, and the ball was loose.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm wondering if that was a forward lateral, if that's what happened there.
Well,
no,
it
Anderson
does appear that they're going to call this a touchdown.
Well, let's see what happened here. Okay, we're asking for a ball.
No,
we've still got a flag down on the field though. Okay, personal foul against Anderson must have been after the play, so we're going to kick it off.
They'll kick it off.
Kick it off from the 25.
And now we'll get the running clock after this.
And okay, that is Peters, a freshman who kicked that extra point. Evan Peters, and Evan's a story all in himself. If he plays wide receiver, and if you'll notice, Evan only has a partial right arm.
Well, their kicker was on the ground getting treated for cramps.
Yeah. So.
And he's jumped up and gone to the huddle now.
Good for Evan.
To do the kickoff, presumably.
Looks like Evan's going to come in. Well, no, he's not. I thought Evan was going to come in, but Evan, I've watched Evan play baseball, play football. He actually caught a couple passes in middle school.
Well, as we were saying earlier, Keith, there's a running clock now, and it's ticking down to 10 minutes to go here in the last quarter. Anderson County up 41-0.
And the thing about it was, I knew Aldridge got picked up the ball, and I have no idea who scored the touchdown.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Who scored the touchdown? We're trying to find out from the coaches.
Oh, Aaron Chilton. Elton Chilton, okay.
Brandon Aldridge picked
it up, yeah.
So there was a fumble. We missed the fumble.
I thought really the flag might have been for a forward lateral. Okay, rewind to kick off. Squibbing it. Boy. Joe Taylor almost had that ball.
What's the logic behind that squib right there?
I have no idea. I guess to keep them from running it back, they don't want to run back. I mean, really, with the exception of 2 series, GRC hadn't done much.
At this point, do you want the shutout? If I'm Anderson County, I want the shutout.
If I'm the players, I want the shutout. Yeah.
It's maybe a little early to talk about that. They are on the 50-yard line now. Anderson County ahead 41-0. Running clock here in the fourth quarter in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Lanny Brannick alongside the voice of the Bearcats, Keith Klink.
GRC put 2 people to the far side there. Anderson's chasing the quarterback. That's a duck up there. And that's a remarkable reception by the GRC receiver. There were 2 Anderson players went for the ball. Neither one of them got it. Anderson has Derringer's down. He's cramped up.
A lot of hands on hips on the Anderson County side.
Well, Anderson's getting some fresh bodies in there. They've got Joe Taylor. Let's see, Joe Taylor, Brendan Clank. Ruwine's limping off. Ruwine's cramped. He's limping off.
He's been treated the last 20 minutes for cramps.
Right.
Once you get a cramp, you just can't get it unworked. Very difficult.
Got 5. Zach Schaus is in. There's a handoff to the far side. And that was Schaus. And there was somebody else over there. Schaus and Aldridge. 2nd and 6. GRC has one receiver to the far side, put a man in motion. Quarterback's going back. They're coming across the middle, and it's too high. Incomplete pass.
Big target going across the middle there.
Got Chase Fink in for Maxbury. Huntley Chilton's coming in for Aldridge.
Guy going across the middle for GRC is Fair Shakadia. He's 6'3".
There's a handoff up the middle, and there's a good job by Anderson. That's Fink. And Castle in there.
Fourth and 5.
Fourth and 5.
Well,
6:20 to go.
If they're going to get a shutout,
yeah, because they've got Anderson has several backups in there. 2 receivers to this side, 1 to the far side. They're going to the far side, and there's a catch, and the tackle's by Clank, but they've got the first down.
A really nice pass and catch that time. He just ran a simple out and turned around and caught it.
Bradley Richardson's coming in. And we've got, I don't think we got it. I don't know.
False start?
I don't know. I'm not sure we got off the field. We had a late substitution. I'm not sure we got off the field. But no, well, GRC looks like they called a time. I'm not sure what the flag was.
I think GRC was about to get a delay of game, and they got it. Nope.
Nope. It is against Anderson.
It's on.
I didn't. We had somebody that didn't get off. We had a lineman that didn't get off the field. 1st and 5 for GRC on about the 22. There's a fumble, and let's see. Anderson says they have it. They've got it. And looks like they do. That's
number 57.
No, 51. 51, Bradley Richardson. Okay, now we got, let's see here. We've got 79, Carson Grimes in there. Carson is 6'8", 350, and he's a freshman. He is large. 37, Richmond Boggs.
We're under 4.5 to go here in the fourth quarter of a running clock. Anderson County 41, GRC 0.
Isaiah Fitzpatrick in the backfield. And Fitzpatrick gets it and doesn't get much. Richmond Boggs is in there at the quarterback, trying to catch all these numbers. 77, Huntley Chilton. '72, Cole Johnson.
So Anderson is playing some of the young fellas. 3:45 to go here in the fourth quarter.
Anderson's in the wishbone. There's a handoff to the outside to Zach Schaus, and Zach comes up for 3 or 4 yards.
A nice gain. Wasn't anything fancy, just.
And does Anderson have somebody down again? Looks like what happened was Schaus's helmet came off.
Student body left there. Yep. Simple.
Got 47, Braden Hillen.
Yeah, they've taken the helmet. Okay. Little different scenario here.
Yeah, he's holding his neck, and they've taken his helmet. It's 3rd and 7. Anderson's getting the punt team ready to go back.
Holding the clavicle area, but who knows what's happening with that.
Yeah, that's not what you want. That's not what you want to see at the end of a game that's well out of hand. Is somebody getting hurt? Let's hope for the best. There's a pitch to this side, and that was Jacob. That was Jacob Redmond, and Anderson's punt team comes out. 4th and 4, and we've got timeout. GRC with 2:55 to go in the game. Anderson leading 41-0.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Okay, Anderson's got Woollums in punt formation. GRC has one man back. There's a snap. It's a little high. Gets off a nice kick to the left side that's rolling. And it's down on the 38-yard line where GRC will take over 1st and 10. And Clint said we had at one point 5,000 people had watched this, so that's impressive.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone that's tuned in to Anderson County Sports TV and Central Kentucky Sports. We've had a tremendous amount of viewers tonight from different parts of the country. We're glad to see everyone tuning in. You can find us on Facebook at Anderson County Sports TV and Central Kentucky Sports.
Oh, there's a fumble, and there's a nice play there by Russell.
He really closed on the ball there.
Yes, he did. I thought they had a receiver wide open.
So we've had some significant injuries, or what appear to be significant injuries tonight, and you hate to see that.
Okay, we've got.
But as we get toward the end of the game, you just hope for the rest of the game to be cleaned at this point.
We've got Fitzpatrick in. There's a handoff up the middle. He bounces off, and that was going to be a touchdown. And Caden Coulter brought him down. 1st and 10 GRC on the 50, a minute to go in the game.
Probably the best offensive play for GRC of the night comes in mop-up time in the 4th quarter. They've got some new guys in the game as well. Lots of white uniforms out there.
Yeah. They've got the clocks. Must be an equipment thing. They've got the clock stopped for some reason. Oh,
we're under a minute to play here.
Yeah, but we got too many people out there. We're going to get another penalty. No, we don't either. I thought we had too many people out there. They're going out there deep, and it's incomplete. And they're calling interference there. I don't know about that.
They pick up the flag?
No, they're marking it off. '72 Cole Johnson. I hope we've gotten everybody. They're running the players in like it's a revolving door, and you try and get them all if you can.
Half a minute to play here in the 4th quarter. Anderson County trying to preserve a shutout, 41-0.
Clock is running. They've still got their back in there. Quarterback's going back, coming across the middle, and it's incomplete. And that's probably going to be your last play of the ball game. Final score: Anderson County 41, GRC nothing. And I'll see if I can get some stats, and we'll be back here in just a minute.
Oh, they.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Okay, we got 0.7 seconds left. Quarterback's rolling, throwing it up, and it's caught. And there's the last play of the game. Tackles by Isaiah Fitzpatrick, and that's the end of the ball game. Anderson 41, GRC nothing.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Okay, final score: Anderson County 41, GRC nothing. We do have the final stats. Anderson finished with just 10 first downs. They only got 3 the second half. They finished 214 total yards rushing, 71 yards passing. Got Gillis was 2 out of 7 for the game. Anderson had 285 yards total for the game. GRC had 80 yards rushing, 120 yards passing for 200 yards total. Zach Labhart led the Bearcats with 9 rushes for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns. Charles Collins had 7 for 103 and a touchdown. Collins had the only 2 receptions for 71 yards and 2 touchdowns. Colton Cornish finished with 13 tackles. Kynan Russell finished with 5.5.
Really a dominant performance.
Dominant performance by the Bearcats all the way. And
this is one of those games where the stats don't really tell the story. It doesn't feel like Anderson County possessed the ball all that much because they didn't. They didn't need to. They played a lot of defense, and they scored quickly tonight.
Well, as you said, GRC had the ball for 32 minutes. Anderson had it for 15.
Anderson County was, the defense at least, with those guys playing both ways, was kind of gassed there for a while.
Yeah.
But it was their defense that really shined tonight. They had some really nice offensive plays, but their defense really came to play tonight.
Okay, we decided to name a player of the game here. We decided on Colton Cornish, 13 total tackles. Zach Labhart and Charles Collins also had good games, but it's hard to overlook 13 tackles.
Yeah, Cornish was just in on every play. And we talked about earlier in the game, Anderson County's defensive line just didn't let anything by, and the linebackers were able to come in and mop up pretty much everything. That's, and that's indicative of Cornish with 13 tackles. The GRC running back, who is a quality running back, he's a 220-pound senior, was really good last year, just couldn't get anything going. He'd come to the line, and the linebacker was just wiping him out.
He ended up with 65 total yards. Okay, next week Anderson is at home again against Meade County. They might have a little revenge on their mind since Meade County drilled us 49-0 last year. We appreciate all the people that decided to tune in and watch us. I might have thought it was Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In or something like that. But, Bearcats did a good job.
It was a pleasure to call a game with you tonight. We want you to tune in every week on Anderson County Sports TV and CentralKentuckySports.com at CentralKYSports.com. You can find Anderson County Sports TV on Facebook and YouTube. You can find CentralKentuckySports.com, and you can find our Facebook and YouTube live and replay streams there. A dominant performance.
Yes.
We hope to see more from this team as they mature, as the season goes on. They've got some things to clean up.
Yeah.
Just getting plays in on time and general sloppiness, but you can't ask for a better game. 41-0 to start the season. 7th straight win over GRC to open the season, right?
6th.
6th straight win.
Yep, 6th straight win.
So,
all right, we want to thank Clint Goins.
Clint, tonight is our technical director and director. Randy Rosenbaum is here to pitch in and help. They are not going to appear on camera because, believe it or not, they're uglier than we are. But we are glad to have everyone tune in tonight on Facebook, and we'll have this up for replay within a couple of days. And if you want to watch Anderson County dominate GRC again, go to the YouTube channels.
All right.
Enjoyed
it.
it.
Thank you. Yep. All right.
Good game, 41-0, and we'll sign off, and we'll see you
next
time.
week. Thank you.